Hey, Chris here. Gonna show you guys how to set up a tent. I know most of you already know how to do this, but we are Woodlands Trails, so we're kind of one of the younger crowds. And to set up a tent, you definitely first need your most invaluable helpers, your 2-year-old and your 5-year-old, so that they can walk on the tarp that you just set down, because that is perfectly helpful. Okay, everybody off the tarp. First thing you're gonna wanna do, we're obviously just setting up in our backyard. First thing you're gonna wanna do is find a flat space as much as you can. Our backyard is not flat, but it is the flattest part of our yard. So if you've gotta have a downhill, make sure you know where that is. You're gonna wanna set out a tarp that's gonna go ahead and protect you from the moisture down below. Clear the area of all sticks. You don't want any roots or branches. We do have roots and stuff coming out. That's why we're a little further forward, but you wanna make sure you clear all those. The one thing you wanna avoid is putting your tent in a ditch, because if water collects at night or something like that, if it rains on you and you get collected, it's gonna create a puddle or a pond underneath, and that's what you really don't want the most. So stand by for step 2. Okay, like that, here we go. We've now set up our tent and we laid it out. So what we've done, you just take the center of your mat, or your tarp, and then you unroll both directions. Try to center it over the tarp the best you can. Obviously we're a little bit off there. If you're gonna be a little off, make sure if you can, it's in the back side. And once we get it set up, I may forget to tell you this later, but once we get it set up, you're gonna wanna roll that under and get it all the way underneath, so that if any water runs off the side of your tent, it doesn't hit that and then roll underneath your tent. That would be bad as well. So now we're gonna go ahead and start setting in some of the stakes. We've just got a simple 8-man Coleman tent here, and looks like Hudson's already working on it for me. So stand by for 3, 2, and poof. 1. Here we are. We've got our setup. We have a Coleman. It's just a basic, it's got like a spider up top with the flexible poles, and then each pole on the side. It's harder than it looks. Weatherman has a harder job than it looks. Anyway, you get the point. Couple of tips for you as we set these things up. There's my other helper. If you've not set a lot of tents up before and you're looking to start working on it, look for the color coding. A lot of times they have color coding that really helps. A lot of these are pretty complicated, actually. The engineering has gotten pretty good. So look for the color code. Up top you can see blue. There's greens, there's reds on this one. In case anyone was wondering, this is the Tenaya Lake. It's nothing fancy, just an 8-man, but it is certainly, I've enjoyed it. I haven't had it out in the torrential rain yet, so if that ever happens, I'll let you guys know how that works out too. But what you want to make sure you do is you want to make sure your tarp down at the bottom is just inside where the water is going to run off. If it doesn't do that, then you need to readjust and get there. So like here we are. This is going to be a problem. So the blue tarp shows. So we're going to need to pull our tent forward just a little bit. In the back, we're probably going to need to roll it up. Again, though, if you're going to have any hang off, have it in the back where the hill rolls down, so that it hits the back and it slides off. Not as big a deal. Again, though, it's going to be a problem when we try to stake that pole and we hit our tarp. We obviously don't want to punch a hole in our tarp. So anyway, just a couple of tips. We'll show you guys a little further when we get the rain fly on and all that and get some stakes in. So we'll show you the final product in just a second. Okay, here we are. We've set up our tent and we've got some things inside. We've got all my helpers here. All right, everybody gives thumbs up. Yeah. Okay, so some basics you're gonna need for just basic backyard camping. We aren't gonna get fancy here.
Sleeping bags, pillows, want some flashlights,
So some pretty basic stuff you're gonna need. You're gonna want something between you and the ground. So if we come over here, here's Campbell's setup right here. He's got just a foam mat. It's not anything fancy. We're pretty. No, it's not an inflatable or anything like that. So it's just basic. He's got a bag here. So His bag is 0 degrees rated. It's only supposed to get down to 50 tonight, so he's gonna be nice and toasty, if not overly warm, so he'll probably unzip it a little bit. But it's always easier to unzip a little bit than to try to add layers and that kind of stuff. It gets cold. If you don't have a mat like this, that's easy enough. You can take a blanket. Hudson, we haven't bought him a mat yet, so he's gonna be on this blanket. We've just folded it in two. Again, all you need is a layer of insulation between you and the ground. The 20-degree bag here, and then mine is of course a little bit nicer. It's gonna be a 0-degree bag as well. And you can always, like I said, you can always go warmer than necessary. When they say a 40-degree bag or a 20-degree bag, they mean you will survive 20 degrees or 40 degrees or 0 degrees. It doesn't mean you're going to be comfortable. It means you will live through the experience. So I can tell you from plenty of experience, even if it's 45 and you're in a 40-degree bag, you're going to be chilly probably, and doubly so if you don't have some sort of insulation between you and the ground. That heat just gets sucked right through that bag, and it'll just chill you to the bone. So, okay, well, we've got a little bit of extra excitement today. We're gonna do one more video, maybe two, on what we're gonna cook tonight. We're gonna do a fire in our fire pit up on our deck. So we're gonna go start that process, and we will be back with you shortly.
Okay, so we're now making hot dogs like we said we would. I think you've seen our tent video and the one in our living room. We also have some corn going on and some hot dogs, probably some marshmallows. Dylan cabin. Jay, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, so I think it's pretty simple, just to have a fun family adventure. Change up the monotony a little bit. Hot dogs are cheap. Our little sticks here, some of the best fire sticks I've seen in a long time. Just simple Walmart sticks, couple bucks. A lot of our gear isn't expensive stuff. Coleman and Ozark Trail, which is the Walmart brand, it doesn't have to be expensive stuff. Campbell's sleeping bag is Ozark Trail, and it's been great for him. Again,
0 degrees.
Yep, 0-degree bag. So you don't have to spend a lot of money. Our fire pit was under $100, I think. We got on Amazon. We just dropped some bricks underneath so that it doesn't damage the deck, or we don't catch the deck on fire. And then we're able to cook up here, keep everything clean. We'll be doing some some corn today. We're also using the cans, my handy can lifter, but we're just gonna cook them right in the cans. And we just drop them right there next to some of the coals, and they'll warm up on their own, just like that. So just some whole kernel corn, some hot dogs with buns, and Mommy was nice enough to make us some potato salad to go with it. So just a fun little meal. We'll then do the marshmallows when we're done with this. And it's just a very simple way to have a little bit of fun as a family.
I'd rather use that.
No doubt you would.
But they're forcing me to use something better.
We'll see you soon. Okay, Woodland Trails, here we are on the other side of the night. We made it through the evening. Nothing fancy. We got a little bit of rain last night, so you can see a couple drips and drops up there on the rain fly, but most of the sun's already dried that out, so it wasn't too bad. Tent held up nicely. Proved to the boys we can make it. Fun time. Everybody enjoyed themselves, and well, okay, the 5-year-old may have gone in the house, but otherwise, the rest of us had fun. So just a couple quick tips about putting away tents. Always make sure they're completely dry. If you don't have a lot of experience with tents yet, one of the easiest mistakes is to think, okay, it's just a couple drips of water, I can put it away. Your tent will mildew, even just a couple drips. So you want to make sure you get it completely dry, inside and out. Also, if you got muddy footprints and stuff on your tent, you're going to want to get in with a rag and just get it out on your hands and knees, or if you got some sort of Swiffer or something, just mop it out so that you clean it. Same for the backside. As you roll it up, make sure you're getting it nice and clean, so that when you pull it out next time, it's clean to start with. But the biggest and most important thing is don't put it away when it's wet. You will definitely regret it. You'll probably destroy your tent. It's a very easy mistake to make. Again, one other thing I wanted to point out, and I kind of pointed out at the fireplace last night, but that is, you don't have to buy the most expensive stuff. Most of my stuff, I've had high-end stuff for like when I was doing campouts or going on the Appalachian Trail and things like that. And then yes, every pound counts. You're carrying it all. You want super lightweight gear. You want super high-end gear. But as those things have worn out, I've just replaced with mostly Coleman and Ozark Trail, which is the Walmart brand. It doesn't have to be fancy, especially for those of us in Woodlands Trails who are camping 3 times a year max. We're good. The basic stuff is good. It gets us in. Feel if we like it. If you really get to the point where you're out and about and doing that stuff all the time, and you want to try, expanding your horizons, doing more challenging stuff like backpacking, that kind of stuff, high-end fishing, all kinds of stuff like that, then yes, by all means, when these things like Coleman wears out, then replace it with something nicer, and that you can certainly judge if you think that the value is there for you. But for me and my family right now, as long as we can survive a couple nights out in a tent, whether we're ever required to, just as survival kind of stuff, or just simply we choose to go out camping, the value is definitely in some of the lighter end prices, Ozark Trail stuff. So, okay. Well, if you have any questions, please post them and comment. We'll be happy to answer any questions you have. I know this is pretty basic for camping. Again, backyard campground, hashtag backyard camping. But it is fun because you get to challenge yourself. You get to pick what level of challenge you want. You stay inside, or you go in as soon as it gets cold? Do you go in if you need a bathroom? Do you do everything outside and challenge yourself? Bathrooms are probably good inside, but do you go in and use the kitchen for half your meal, or do you cook everything on the fire? So you've got that level of challenge where you can do either one. If you've got a kid that's the first time they've ever camped out, like Hudson yesterday, it was probably a good thing that he had the option of going inside when he got scared. It got him accustomed to it, but about 10 o'clock he said, I don't want to do this anymore. He heard things in the woods and stuff like that. Obviously, we live with woods right behind us, so there was a fox or something crawling around back there last night, and it scared him. So having that option of going in, good thing for young kids when they're first getting on their first try. So anyway, thank you for joining us on our backyard camp trip, and we hope to do things like this again in the future. Post and comment what you'd like to see us do if you come up with good options for us. Okay, thanks.
Bye.
And see you soon.